Midnight Candy. I never thought a single candy bar could ruin a night. But then again, I never thought I'd be running through the streets at midnight with someone or something watching me. I'm Alex, 28, a guy who likes his routine almost as much as he likes his sweets. I work the late night shift at Grover's convenience store, which is to say I spend my hours between dusty shelves and flickering fluorescent lights, ringing up the occasional neighborhood drifter or wide-eyed teen. My life is predictable, quiet, maybe even a little dull, but I liked it that way. Safe, controlled, or so I thought. The town I live in is small, the kind of place where everyone nods at everyone else, even if they don't actually know your name. Tonight, the streets glistened from a sudden rain. Lamps cast long, wavering shadows that seemed almost alive. The air smelled of wet asphalt, faint pine, and the smoke of some distant, unremembered fire. It was the sort of night that feels like a whisper of things you'd rather not think about, but curiosity has a way of sneaking up on you. That night, the bell above the store door jingled like usual, and I half smiled at the rhythm of it, the familiarity. And then the chill crept in, a deep, almost sentient sort of cold that made the hairs on my neck bristle. Something wasn't right. I turned toward the doorframe, and my eyes caught the flyer. Midnight Candy, tonight only. No address, no explanation. Just those words, glowing under the flickering neon like they'd been waiting for me. My stomach twisted, half with curiosity, half with instinctive fear. A single candy bar? What could possibly go wrong? And yet, the air pressed in closer, heavier, as if the town itself was holding its breath. I didn't know it yet, but stepping outside that store would be the first mistake of the night. And mistakes, as I would soon learn, have a way of sticking to you, like sugar on your fingers, or worse. Curiosity won over caution. I stuffed the flyer into my pocket and stepped out into the wet night, my breath fogging in the streetlight. At first, it was just the usual sounds, the distant hum of traffic, the soft patter of rain on asphalt. But soon the shadows began to stretch, bend, and slither in ways that made my stomach knot. Then I saw it, a figure standing in the middle of the deserted street, wearing a carnival mask that gleamed wet under the lamplight. In their hands, a basket overflowed with candy. The scent hit me first, sugar, chocolate, something sticky and warm, tugging at a memory I didn't want to recall. They raised a gloved hand, beckoning me forward, and despite every rational thought screaming, "Run!" my feet moved. I took a step, then another. Every time I tried to look away, they slipped just out of reach, melting into alleys or corners that shouldn't exist. The town's streets, familiar in daylight, were twisting around me like a funhouse mirror. My heartbeat thumped in my ears as I dodged puddles and glanced over my shoulder. Footsteps? Whispered laughter? The night swallowed the sound before it reached me. A flicker of streetlight made me jump. Then another, and I saw the tug at my backpack, sharp, insistent. I spun around, heart hammering, but the street was empty. My hands shook, my chest heaving. Every instinct screamed danger, but the candy, the sweet, familiar pull of it, kept me moving. I felt like a moth circling a flame that might burn me alive. Then came the alleys that didn't exist yesterday. Sharp turns and dead ends that warped the town into something unrecognizable. I tried to retrace my steps, to get back to the comforting glow of the convenience store, but the map in my mind refused to line up. The rain-slicked streets gleamed like mirrors, reflecting a world that felt almost wrong. Shadows pressed in from every corner, stretching, twisting, alive. And always ahead of me, the masked figure, patient, silent, and grinning under that porcelain carnival mask, leading me somewhere I did not want to go, but could not stop myself from following. The night had changed, and I was running not just from the unknown, but toward it, dragged by a single, simple candy bar that promised nostalgia and danger in equal measure. The rain had stopped, but the air felt heavier, as if the night itself were holding its breath. I followed the masked figure through a corridor of rusted fences and overgrown weeds until I saw it, the old fairground, the one that had been shut down years ago after the fire. The gates stood open now, creaking slightly, like a mouth waiting to swallow. Every instinct told me to turn around, but I stepped through anyway. The ground crunched beneath my shoes. Glass, gravel, maybe bones, and the air shimmered faintly, humming with static. The carousel horses were blackened, their painted eyes melted into warped grins, and in the center of it all stood the masked figure, basket in hand. Only one piece of candy remained. It glowed faintly, red and gold, pulsing like a heartbeat. "You shouldn't have come alone," the figure said. The voice was low, familiar, too familiar. I froze, my tongue went dry. It was the voice of someone I knew, someone who shouldn't have been here. My brother, Daniel, dead for 5 years. "Danny?" I whispered. He tilted his head, the mask cracking just enough for me to see the curve of his smile. Half memory, half nightmare. "It's sweet, isn't it? Remember the taste." My mind flashed back. Halloween night, years ago, when he'd handed me a piece of candy that made me sick for days. Mom said it was spoiled. But Danny just laughed. The realization hit like a hammer. This candy wasn't a treat. It was a lure, a curse, a debt unpaid. He stepped closer, the candy's glow reflecting in his mask. "You wanted to know what it feels like, right? To taste the past?" My breath shook. I could run. I could turn back and forget this ever happened. But I knew I wouldn't sleep until I knew what the candy really was. Curiosity, the same poison that killed cats and men alike, won again. I snatched it from his hand. The world convulsed. The air shattered like glass. The fairground twisted into a blur of color and sound. Laughter, screams, carnival music melting into static. Shadows tore themselves from the ground, each one whispering my name. I was surrounded. My chest pounded so hard I thought my ribs would crack. Daniel, or whatever wore his face, was gone. And all that was left was the taste of the candy, sickly sweet, burning cold, melting on my tongue. I took one step forward, knowing it would change everything, or end it. I woke up face down in the wet grass at the edge of town, my breath coming in short, ragged bursts. Dawn was leaking through the mist, turning everything pale and hollow. My backpack was gone. My phone, my wallet, gone too. All I had were the shredded remnants of that damned flyer, clenched in my fist like proof of a dream I couldn't wake from. The world felt quieter than it should have been. No cars, no birds, just the hum of the power lines above me and the faint ringing in my ears. My mouth tasted strange, sweets then metallic, like blood laced with sugar. I spat, but the taste stayed. It lingered. By the time I stumbled into town, the world had already moved on. The streets looked the same, the store lights flickered the same old man walked his dog by the post office. Normal, completely normal. And yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd stepped out of sync with it all, like I was watching the town through a glass pane that only I could see. I went to the diner. The same waitress poured my coffee, the same bell rang when the door opened, the same people sat in the same booths gossiping about nothing. When I tried to tell them what happened, about the fairground, the mask, the candy, no one even paused to listen. "You probably dreamed it," she said, smiling kindly, as if that fixed everything. "You've been working too many late shifts, hon." But I know what I felt. I know what I tasted. Every time I blink, I see flashes of the fairground, the twisted carousel, the hollow laughter, the glint of that mask in the dark. And sometimes when I walk home at night, I hear it again, the faint jingle of carnival music carried on the wind, the kind that makes your stomach twist because it's too familiar. Last night, I found something on the counter at Grover's, a wrapper, glossy, gold and red, the same brand that never existed before. It wasn't there when I locked up. Someone or something had left it there. And when I looked closer, I could still smell it, sweet, tempting, the faintest hint of smoke underneath. Midnight candy. Weeks later, I find myself walking past Grover's convenience store again. The evening is quiet, the sky brews purple with sunset. My steps falter as a flicker of movement catches my eye. A new flyer, pinned carelessly to the door, flutters in the wind. Bold letters glare up at me. Midnight candy, tonight only. My stomach twists, my pulse races, not with excitement, but with the memory of wet streets, twisted shadows, and that mask. Weeks have passed, but the metallic sweet taste still lingers at the back of my throat, a reminder that some things don't just disappear. I pause, hand hovering, half expecting it to vanish, half expecting something else. The town around me continues in its ordinary rhythm. Cars hum by, lights flicker in apartments, but I feel a weight pressing just behind my eyes, a tug at my sleeve that isn't really there. My curiosity, once a simple itch for chocolate and nostalgia, now feels like a warning. The lesson is clear. Though I'm not sure I'll ever fully heed it, curiosity is sweet, danger is sweeter, and sometimes the candy you chase isn't a treat, it's the thing that wants to chase you. I take a step back and keep walking, but the flyer flutters again in the wind. The edges curl like the grin of a carnival mask I'll never forget. I can't shake the thought, the question that claws at me in the silence of my apartment later that night when the lights are low and the streets are empty. Would you take it if it called your name? If this story made your skin crawl, your pulse race, or even just lingered in your mind for a moment, make sure to hit like. It really helps the channel grow. Don't forget to subscribe for daily content that keeps you on the edge, and share this video with someone who loves a good thrill. Thanks for listening, for watching, and for daring to step into the shadows with me tonight. There's another story waiting for you on your screen, a new adventure you won't want to miss. I'll see you back here tomorrow, if you dare.